Welcome, everyone, to a special episode of Tea Time with Tommy.
Cheers.
And guys, this man needs no introduction. NBA TVs and the Hangouts, AKIL Augustine is here to join us. AKIL, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on the show.
Not as busy as I used to be.
I hear you. But yes, so let's get right into it, AKIL. So basically, the first question I have to ask you is just for the audience as well. What inspired you to become the successful NBA TV television host that you are right now? Where did that inspiration, that drive come from?
The craving for attention as a kid. I always wanted more attention. Growing up without your parents, you try to steal as much attention from the adults around you, and the way I found to do that was to either make them laugh or have an interesting opinion or recite some information I heard earlier, and that kind of snowballed throughout my life into my presentation style that is today.
Absolutely, AKIL. So so that inspiration and that drive. I love that you stated in I was reading up on your bio on your website. It's so amazing. It says, I don't see much point in writing a bio right now because I'm currently attempting to accomplish the things I would like to be able to say about myself. That's just amazing in itself. If you can explain that where did that come from?
I read a lot, and I think one of the things that a lot of the people that I admire, I noticed in them is they really don't focus on what they've done. They kind of just keep the task in front of them, and I think the first task is choosing a task, right? And so once you pick your task, then you go about doing the work. And I think our culture right now is really geared towards instant gratification, and everybody wants to puff up their chest and list all the accomplishments and the accolades and everything I've done and everywhere I've been. And I think it does serve a purpose. I think it lends legitimacy to what you're doing, so people can know that you've been places and done things and you're educated and you're not just speaking out of your ass. But I think for me, I'm not really looking for that validation anymore. I'm really looking to embrace just doing things. I don't know. I'm in a place right now. I know it's not the place I'll always be in, but for me right now, I've spent a lot of time working, a lot of time researching, a lot of time learning, and I think right now is the time to do. For me, approaching my 40s, and so I just rather just do and don't want to. It's a little facetious, a little tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, it's how I actually feel, and I think that's a better representation of what my biography is now, as opposed to me listing stuff that I don't really think applies to who I am today.
No, that's well put, AKIL. I know how passionate you are in in the sports journalism industry. So absolutely keep up the great work. Of course, everyone knows you from the show NBATV's The Hangout. I have to ask you, because it's such a great popular show, where did that come from? Where did the inspiration of that show come from?
So when I was about, I think 29 or 30, I think I got the job as the pre-game show host for the Toronto Raptors on NBATV. And I lasted maybe 2 episodes. They fired me. I didn't do a very good job, apparently. And that kind of was a dream shattered. And I was, it was a wake-up call, but at the same time, when I was in it, it felt devastating. And so one night I just, emptied my bank account and bought a bunch of Sony 5D, Mark II, whatevers, and lighting kit. And I said, I'm just going to make some content. So I would just film me and my friends watching games and stay up at night and edit those videos and put them on Vimeo at the time, and some on YouTube. And then that led to the same people who, asked me as the host of the Raptors pre- and post-game show to ask me to develop a show, because there was a time when Raptors TV was moving from Raptors TV to NBA TV Canada, and they were looking to rebrand the network, and they wanted to bring in a piece of Canadian content that spoke to the whole league as opposed to just Raptor-centric content, and that's kind of what my YouTube series was, and so that was the genesis of the Hangout.
Wow. No, that's an amazing story. I know you told me this too. I can't get enough of that story. Because in a way, inspires all us young people. Well, I'm not young, I'm old, but anyways, most young, all the other young people and myself inspires me to keep going, keep working hard because.
I think that's the key, right? Don't keep going towards some goal. Keep going towards enjoying the process. I think is something I'd like to put out there too, right? Because a lot of times we are caught up in the goal and getting there, and that was me for a large part of my career. And I think that's why I'm just enjoying the doing. Because I think I was trying to get to ESPN, get to SportsCenter, get to Courtside, get to my own show. And I think I did so much cool stuff. And luckily, I took the time to smell the roses. But I think there was so much more fun. Like moments like this for you, on your humble come up, remembering, the time you had to close the door live on a stream because the wind was blowing and it was making sound on the mic. Like all those things are going to be very fond memories for you wherever you end up. And so I think what I try to do is just enjoy the process in the moment. Kind of like the Sam Hanke model, trust the process.
Trust the process. Exactly, Akil. And if you ever need Nem and I to come on the Hangout, let us know.
Yes.
Absolutely. Shout out to Nem Stankovic there too. Big them. Let's get right into the topic of the NBA, Akil. So COVID-19, of course, currently happening. They say they're going to have it in Disney World late July or early August. Do you think? Yeah, reports are Adam Silver and the NBA are going to have it at Disney World.
They didn't realize it was official, but that's crazy. I guess that's bad news for me.
Oh, how come?
Well, I don't have a visa. I can't be working in the States.
You can do your own show from at home, though, and just
Definitely. We'll definitely come up with some ideas and ways to produce content around the Raptors. The Canadians are definitely going to crave for a Canadian perspective because, we won't get it elsewhere.
Hey, we're going to tune into you. We want the news from you, so definitely looking forward to that. Do you think it's the right call, though, Akil, to restart the season now? Because it still looks tricky right now. The next season's in December, so it's a close call between the two. Do you think the NBA should restart the season again in Disney World?
I don't know what anyone should do, but I do know that at some point we're going to have to start living again. And I don't think the trick here is for people to realize that we were never safe. And I think the bubble and the illusion of safety has been popped. And now a lot of people are taking on the risk of being outside a lot more seriously than they ever have in their life. It's not anything new to me as a black man in North America. I know what the risks are when you step outside. So I think it's new to a lot of people just to be concerned for their well-being on a day-to-day, and it's very unnerving for a large part of the population that hasn't had to deal with this kind of stressor before. So, again, I think at some point you've got to feed people. You've got to put food on the table. In the United States, right now, I think 1 out of every 4 people is applied for some kind of social welfare. A country can't function at 25% unemployment. So you have to ask yourself, as a business leader in the country, where a country's obviously developed a need for your service financially, what do you do, right? What do you do? And I think the decision isn't being made lightly. That's why I didn't know it was official yet, but I also had to remove myself from the news cycle over the past couple of days because of a lot of what's coming up, just for me, myself personally, as a black man in North America. But, it's a tough position for anyone to be in as a leader to decide when it's safe to go back outside. But my argument is this: the world must go on.
Absolutely. And hopefully, I totally agree with you, Akil. So hopefully, they will restart the season. Now, if they do restart the season, moving on to the next question, what are the Raptors' chances? Let's say they restart in Disney World. How far do you think they can go? I personally think they can go to the finals. But how far do you think our Toronto team can go?
I don't know, because here's the thing. I don't know what guys' mind states are going to be like coming back from COVID, and a lot of stuff going on out there right now, my man. And I think it's hard to put your finger on how a team is going to respond after the inability to get together for 3 months, especially a Raptors group that was really using the synergies of being on the same page and everybody being fit and everybody kind of thing. But and at the same time, you got to factor in also like with the returning health of a lot of guys, like we have healthy Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for the Nets, like saying like Steph, Clay want to play, right? It's like so it's hard to make any kind of prediction because in any realm of life right now, for me personally, simply because I don't think I'm standing on solid ground.
Right. And like how you're right, like players haven't been training lately. Some haven't even been shooting at a hoop right now. I think so. Maybe that will give us the chance. Maybe there are teams out that haven't been training, so maybe that's when we can like actually get in there.
Well, let's hope those John Lee Instagram, YouTube workouts kept the Raps in shape.
True. Very correct there, AKIL. Very correct. Moving on. So on top of the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors, there was like some rumors ago. I believe it was Sportsnet that said that Masai Ujiri and Kawhi Leonard have kept a very strong relationship since Kawhi left Toronto, and the families are very close and everything. The rumors are that there's maybe a slim chance that Kawhi Leonard might come back after his free agency to Toronto. What chance do you give of that happening, AKIL? If I know it was just like it was sports
nonsense. That makes no sense to me. It's nonsense.
But like, it's good to grab onto that hope, isn't it, for us? That if he does,
is it, or should we be moving on? I don't know. I don't see how you can find any legitimacy in that. What did he sign? A 4-year or 5-year? He signed a 4-year. Then
2 years option after 2 years. So he'll be a free 2 years.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's the option. I mean, I can't see it.
No, it's just like basically he loves California, so there's just it'd be tough to. Well, hey, he loved Canada though.
The Raptors are amazing right now.
Yeah, they're.
I don't get why someone would report that. I don't think it's legitimate. I couldn't buy it. I wouldn't read that article.
No, Canadian sports reporters, like some of them just make these rumors to.
There are good ones and there are bad ones. There are definitely good ones and bad ones. That one, I myself personally can't buy.
Oh, like, you know what? Can't disagree with there, AKIL. I've talked to a lot of guests and they told me the same thing. It's a long shot. Moving on. So, of course, there has been big news, The Last Dance documentary, Michael Jordan documentary. What did you find most?
Not a documentary, so I think you should point that out. It's a memoir. A documentary is attempts to be non-biased when the subject matter of the documentary can withhold the production of the documentary for 18 years. Shows he's got a lot of leverage in the film, so I, myself personally, have chosen not to classify it as a documentary, and it's more of a memoir.
Good point, AKIL. It was definitely a memoir. It was definitely from one person's vantage point. What did you thoughts? What were your thoughts on that documentary? What'd you take from it?
I'm just thankful it happened. The timing of it was serendipitous that we were in quarantine and there was very little to look forward to, so it kind of structured my weeks, giving me 2 things to look forward to every Sunday night. It kind of helped me recognize which night was Sunday night, and it was some good storytelling. It definitely had some of the best subject matter to work with, and the access they had at that point in time was unprecedented. And the beauty of it was, as much as they were candid, in the slanted way that it was presented. You got to hear a lot of how certain people thought about things. For me, my favorite part was just learning more about Scottie Pippen and his dad, the amount of kids his dad had, decisions he made, his free agency, and all the events. The Scottie stuff was the most intriguing, but I will say there were a couple moments where Michael opened up about his competitive nature that I identified a lot with, and it really were some compelling television.
Yeah, absolutely. And I enjoyed Dennis Rodman. Like, I heard the producers that they only had him for 10 minutes. That was the story, but I found what he said compelling in that one as well, where he came from, him and Jordan.
Well, they divvied that up well.
Yeah, the Rodman thing was well. Do you Oh, I like how you went back to the memoir part. There are reports that Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant are not happy with how
They're pissed. They're pissed. And they should be if people keep calling it a documentary, because then it's going to go in the annals of like it being some kind of objective opinion or fact or objective perception or fact about what happened with the Bulls. But it was really just Michael's version of what happened. And I think that's why you get dissenting views afterwards, because, a lot of people didn't agree with how Michael saw things, right? He asked some of his teammates how he treated them, and they wouldn't say the same things that Scottie Pippen would. Where the hell was Ron Harper? Like, where was Ron Harper during that documentary? As a kid, I loved Ron Harper, and I thought Ron Harper was a bigger part of that team. But according to the people who produced that documentary, Ron Harper was just like an afterthought. He was a starter. What happened to Ron Harper?
Good question, Akil. He was in the documentary, but only for like one episode for like 4 minutes. You were talking about
Ron Harper. They didn't put Ron Harper in.
Yeah, so they put him in one. I think it was one episode, Akil. You remember the shot Jordan and the '89 Bulls against the Cavs? Ron Harper was guarding Jordan. That was the one. That was it.
And Craig Elo had stuff to say about that.
Yeah,
Harper was going off like he was some kind of defender. He was like, Ron Harper couldn't defend anybody.
Yeah, that's weird that Jordan said Ron Harper was a tougher defender than Craig Elo. But overall,
they're friends.
Oh yeah, they are buddies. That is true. They are buddies. They're boys. So yeah, the final takeaway. Do you think it'll go down as one of the best documentaries ever? Even though it was a memoir. But did you enjoy watching it, Akil?
I mean, it's got an unfair advantage because like we're now in this age where like Netflix gets the opportunity to like do 10 hours of content, where before you were kind of trapped to like 2 hours. So to say it's the best, it has like that advantage, that Netflix advantage, where you get to flesh out the story a lot more because of the amount of time you have. There are less time constraints. I wouldn't say it's the best documentary ever. I think Particle Fever is the best documentary ever.
Oh, right. I gotta catch that one.
The discovery of the Higgs boson particle by the CERN team at the collider. I think that's probably the most compelling documentary I've ever seen.
You are a deep philosophical thinker, sir. So, Akil, before we conclude, are you got time for some fun trivia?
Let's do it. Shoot.
Absolutely. All right, here with Akil Augustine. We're talking about Raptors trivia, or basketball trivia. Let's go. Question number 1. This is too easy for you. Who was the Toronto Raptors' first ever NBA draft pick?
The Mighty Mouse.
Oh, my Damon Stoudamire. I forgive me for asking that question, sir. That was like too easy. 1 for 1. Number 2. Which college did Chris Bosh play for? 1 year. Yeah, maybe I should rethought this whole thing. These questions.
I know. Keep going. Let's see.
All right. Question number 3. Which team did Vince Carter play against his first game? What team did he play against? First game ever.
Preseason or regular season?
Regular season.
Indiana Pacers?
No, it wasn't the. You're a special guest, Akil. I'll give you another shot.
Grizzlies.
It should have been the Grizzlies. No, it was actually the Boston Celtics.
That was not that one.
It was a tough one.
I should have known it was an Atlantic division team, though. Knicks or Philly or something. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's my bad. I don't have the questions. You have the questions.
Oh, my bad. Right. I thought you were asking a question. My bad, Akil.
Not allowed.
Question number 4. Which player did Vince Carter get traded for in the 98 NBA draft?
The layups. Bobby Sura. Anton Jamison.
Oh man, I will refigure if we ever get a chance to do anything. I'll ask tougher questions to kill.
Yeah, you definitely need some tougher questions for me.
All right, maybe this one's a little tougher. Question number 5: Which team did Chris Bosh play the final game as a Toronto Raptor?
Don't we usually play Miami the last game of the season?
They do, but this was his last game as a Raptor.
Oh, it was a playoff game, right? If it was
a playoff game. It wasn't a playoff game.
That's a good question. Last game as a Raptor for Chris Bosh. The Milwaukee Bucks?
Wasn't the Bucks. I'll give you a hint. It's his nose got broken.
I won't remember, but who was it?
It was the Cleveland Cavaliers. ANTAWN JAMISON was the one that elbowed up Chris Bosh by accident, broke his nose, ended the season, and that was it for the Raptors. He went to the Miami Heat the next year.
Yeah.
That was it. Last one for a bonus question. What selection was Chris Bosh drafted overall? And who were the three players after Chris Bosh?
After or before?
Before Chris Bosh. Who were the three players?
Well, LeBron James is drafted #1 overall, followed by #2 Darko with the Milicek, and I do believe, Carmelo went. Did Carmelo go 3 and Wade go 5, or Wade go? How does it work out? Wait, hold on. It goes James, Milicek, someone Bosh. So it had to be Melo. Was it third?
What's the final guess? What's the final guess that kills? Is it Melo or Wade third?
How was Melo not third? Who had the third pick that year? If the Raptors, Miami was no. Yeah, Melo was third.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Melo third.
No way, Melo wasn't third.
D. Wade was fifth.
Yeah, because then you'd be like, wait, Melo was fifth? There's no way Melo was fifth. You didn't know Wade was going to be that sick. You knew Melo was going to be sick.
How was Wade fifth? How was Dwayne Wade fifth? He should have been like second overall.
But you did. The thing is, like, Melo had the pedigree from Oak Hill and Syracuse, and LeBron was the chosen one. And I don't know what the hell freaking Joe Dumars and Larry Brown were thinking drafting Darko.
Yeah, it's amazing how Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade turned out to be Hall of Famers. And Darko, well, he's another story.
I think he fights mixed martial arts now.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't mess with him. 7-foot guy coming after you. Not good.
Russian bare knuckle bro. He's not Russian, is he? Is he Russian?
I think Ukrainian?
Okay.
I think he's Ukrainian.
Yeah, I don't want to disrespect.
But hey, Akil, wow. 5 out of 6. My fault. I'll ask better questions next time on trivia, but that is amazing.
Failed tests. So you failed this time.
I failed too, so I get 0. I get F- on this one. Akil, great job though. Great job. Thank you for taking your time. I really appreciate it. I have your busy schedule to do this. Thank you again. And one last thing, do you want to give a shout out to your Instagram or social media so that people can follow you?
On Instagram at AKIL AUGUSTINE at AKIL Augustine. Follow up. Lots of cool content. So I just keep it coming, man.
And I just want to say, guys, check this guy out. He is inspiration. All of us future up-and-comers. This guy works hard, and he deserves the success he's got. Thank you, Akil. Just don't go anywhere. Guys, thank you for joining Akil and I for another great episode of Tea Time with Tommy. There you go. Akil's got it. Thank you so much, Akil. Thank you again, everyone. Take care, guys.
Yeah.